Yeah, I'm telling you, neighbor. I said it before, some months ago, when we were talking about what the JLP need to do going forward, look into the fourth term, and I said they need to build a wall that is walling out the PMP, a wall that is made of performance and results, and that will in effect turn the PMP into dinosaurs. They will no longer be relevant, and all people remember is the debacle of the 1990s going into 2007. And this government is doing exactly what I thought we need to do. And in the years and the months to come, you're going to see the relevance of the opposition. It's gonna become less and less a factor. As a matter of fact, at some point, we're gonna have to start to worry about our democracy if we don't have a viable opposition.
True.
Yeah. You're back there protecting?
Yes, neighbor, I think so. If you're hearing me clearly, I'm back.
Okay. No, I'm looking at our gauging of opinions online. Protecting. And the fact of the matter is that here you have a government in its 11th year, and the government seems to be mellowing with time and with age. It speaks a lot about the government's performance, but it also speaks to the ineptness of the opposition. Is that not true?
It is true. If you can allow me 30 seconds to complete the point I was making earlier. That yesterday was the beginning of the plunge, the nosedive of the PMP. The one chance the PMP had to turn back the mellowing of the JLP and Andrew Holness was on September 3rd. And they missed that chance. And they knew they threw everything at it, neighbor. They banked on it. And they knew that was the only chance. Now, there's nothing new happening here, you know, neighbor. The Jamaica Labour Party have always been a party of ideas and visions and innovations. All its leaders, all its members. Because the Jamaica Labour Party could always pride itself that it draws members who leads the party and represent the party from industries. From the inception, Buster believes, say, transport should have been led by a man who run bus. And agriculture should have been led by a man who plant crop. So they pull from industries to represent the party. And we always get the benefit of that, neighbor. We have always gotten the benefit of that. I don't know if you see the wisdom in that kind of approach. No. The PMP, they're going to, the party itself, they're going to frazzle out. They're going to die a natural death politically because there's no space for them to shine. Remember, in a neighbor, I think they used up all their ammunition already, you know. They started with Andrew's house. Now the house gone through the window. Them try to pin on corruption upon him, try to manufacture some corruption. That no work. Tell me, what else is there? They can't use crime again, which used to be the biggest political football for both sides. They can't use the economy again, which used to be a political football. What is there for them to... Okay, they were using healthcare. Before this term done, healthcare will be virtually fixed.
But it does speak to a positive for Jamaica, though, you know, because we're not complaining that the opposition should be better. But it is of note protecting that, and I think, though, you know, that in terms of consequential, that the country probably is just at a point where it has a leader that it has just searched for such a long time. Yes. And we just have to be very satisfied and accept that we are at that point, that inflection point in our history. And we should be grateful for it.
And that's how this thing should be messaged. Neighbor. And that's the reason why you see I stick to one kind of messaging. because we need to, just as how the PMP repeated poverty so long and so often for 19 years, that it literally became the reality for people. We need to repeat the fact that we have the right leader now that we have searched for so long. Independent Jamaica needed a Buster.
Yes.
Independent Jamaica needed a Siaga. And independent Jamaica needs a Andrew Holness. You know? And we have to continue.
Are we not probably maybe need a recalibration of our thinking though? Because maybe it is not that the opposition is so bad, but probably the government is just so good.
The opposition is bad.
They're bad.
Yes, they are bad. When you have a group of people who have consistently, every time they take office, run down the Jamaican economy, they are bad.
Yeah.
They are. And there should be no excuse made for them. When you have a party that form government that consistently diminishes the value of Jamaicans, the standard of living reduces to naught. This group of people, they are bad, and we need to say it and say it boldly. They are bad. Them bad, them worse, them worser, as some people that say it. They are not good for Jamaica. And we need to be clear when we communicate this. Jamaica is, neighbor, look at the next 5 years, neighbor. Look at 2030. 2030, we are Spanish Town finish, UWE maybe 3/4, maybe Falmouth the halfway. The highway continue from William Seal down through St. Elizabeth past Santa Cruz. And then at some point, them are going to join up with that bypass and the Long Hill bypass. We're coming from Montego Bay. We're going to spring off of the Montego Bay bypass. The STEM schools, you know, are where they should be. The 100 water projects will come to completion. The 51 bridges. Just imagine, show me now, neighbor, which space is in that kind of picture for the PMP? That's a picture I just painted, you know. Show me the space in there, so if you put one PMP. A matter of fact, show me the space in there, so if you put 65, 66-year-old Mark Golding. Show me the space. There's no space in that picture for 66-year-old Mark Golding. There's no space right there, so for 75-year-old Peter Bunting. And by that the time there, the Ras frazzle out and get frustrated and him not interested again.
Yeah. Do you think that because the ideological divide of both parties is kind of what has kind of caused the polarization of the politics? And I see an attempt by the opposition leader to kind of lean back to the ideological PNP of the past. Do you think it's a recognition that Jamaica is not in that type of ideological mood anymore? That
Yes.
Their aspirations are tied to their own economic development and progress, and therefore he wants to shift the politics? You think that is what is happening here?
That is the intention of the entire PMP, and I know that to be true. I know of the meetings held. I know of the discussions in some of those meetings, so I know that to be true.
So it's a divide. They want a divide. They see their existence in a political divide.
Yes. No, what they are meeting upon, and trust me, neighbor, they know how to plan this, and they have planned it perfectly. But the problem is, when the plan is to go into effect, they are meeting upon people who are not willing to go down that road. And that is where I am happy that our democracy is finally maturing. It has not just healed from the ills of the PMP and the wounds that the PMP has inflicted upon it, but it is maturing while the last segment of it is healing. Now, when it is very easy for you to identify the divide. Now, they continue to repeat 402,000. Because they want Jamaica and the world to believe that this divide is 402,000 strong. But let me remind those who are listening, the divide is just 300 and about 75,000 strong, because even their very base has diminished. They could manage in the last election to appeal to some of those who walked away from them to come back and vote for them by remuneration for the vote. I do not believe that going forward, they will be able to afford this, because it was very expensive for them in the last election. Nobody need not take no chat. People were saying to them, listen, if you want, we vote back for you, 100 grand, you know.
Yeah.
It is very expensive. So what we're finding is, yes, the divide is pronounced, neighbor, but that divide cannot derail Jamaica's progress again, because the divide is of a number that is much smaller than what it used to be, that they could rely on, if I might put it that way.
Yeah, it's largely psychological, and I think it's important for us to point these things out to the nation. It's very important. Yeah, because when you listen to Golden's speech, you get the sense that there's not much that they can criticize or can disagree on. But then you have to get your supporters to understand that you have a different kind of vision, but that vision doesn't fit into the general direction that the country is going now. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but are you there, sir?
It doesn't.
Yeah. Okay, hold on here for me.
It doesn't fit in to the direction.
Yeah, hold on, sir. Let me get back up to Harry. So Harry.
Never.
Harry, coming out of this budget debate, and the presentations that we have, what we are now seeing is that there are clear paths that are emerging going forward into the government's term. There is a sense, Harry, that all of Jamaica, or more people in the country, is now coming on board and are looking at the Jamaica Labour Party's vision as something that is anti-political and more in the national interest. And I think that's a good thing that is happening.
It is more than a good thing compared to where we were, neighbor. The die-heartedness in that level, you're going to rule along a certain party line and so on. And that divided the people and let them be uninterested when it comes down to the political process. No, I know people will say, but if you look at it doesn't translate to the polls. And I would put it to them, neighbor, and say, let's test it for the next election to see, because what we're seeing is now, as it becomes more national, people are realizing that, hey, you're now taking us, for example, the undecided, a lot more seriously. You are putting things in place to not just entice us, but to move the country forward on a level that it has never been done before. And as such, you can't move the country without the inclusivity of everyone. You can't just do it with a portion of or a section. And that is very compelling for the people, neighbor. In fact, it's an eye-opener. It will attract more people to, even if they don't turn up at the polls in the numbers we may anticipate, they have now shown more interest in the level of governance. And that is what we want to see. That is the only way we'll actually get Jamaica building a good political culture, one that is palatable, one that is of a higher standard, and one in which we can be free in terms of having discussions like this openly, without anybody, drawing lines and arguing, rather than having a comprehensive discussion. So that in itself is shaping the political scene in Jamaica. And I know it took some time to get here, in all honesty, but it is something we have to appreciate and keep on this track as well, because we don't want to lose sight as to what we're trying to achieve, and where we are is very critical, right? We do need the continuity in this approach. Doesn't matter who's in government. This is the approach we want to see, keep cultivating and keep going forward.
Fantastic. Lavi?
Yes, neighbor, I'm here.
Your comment on the mood of the country. I am observing that the country seemed to be less polarized, more nationalistic. Choose Jamaica seems to have broken through. But at the same time, it appears as if the opposition recognizes this and are countering by drawing ideological lines again. When you listen to them about the Cuban doctors and all these things, one would have thought that in this modern age, that a decision like that from a government would be an easy thing to make. But the opposition seem to want to remain in this ideological divide. But that's not the mood of the country. I don't sense that.
I don't sense that either, neighbor. As a matter of fact, this week I was having some discussions with some Jamaicans online, and we were talking about the Cuban issue. And people were pretty much looking at it from a humanitarian point of view. There was nothing political about that from the people I was talking to. People looked at it and said, you know what, as Jamaicans, if we go to another country to work, we wouldn't want our money to go straight to our government. We wouldn't want to be our passport to be taken away from us, you know? So because of that, and given the fact that we have a unique history of our ancestors being enslaved, my personal view, neighbor, is that both the JLP and the PMP should have been ashamed to have kept this agreement going for this long. That is my personal view, and because it is inhumane, and I'm sure because internationally certain issues weren't being looked at yet. I can see where it didn't hit us as something that we should not be facilitating, because we would want that to happen to our people. So I can give and take there, but if there's any anger, it shouldn't be leveled against the JLP. No, it should be leveled against the fact that we have, as a nation, been doing this for so long. That's where the anger should be. Number two, the Jamaican government didn't stop the program. It is the Cuban government who stopped it. The government of Jamaica is willing to continue the program if the changes are made in those two areas. So it is the Cubans who are doing it. But back to the central sentiment of what you're saying, the sense that I am getting is that a lot of Jamaicans are hopping off the die-hard kind of politics, and I think that among some of the reasons is that when they get engaged with people who support the government, people who know the facts, people who know the history, people who are aware of the programs of the government, who can articulate them and show them how those programs are helping those same people. People are starting to realize that they really don't have any factual thing to counteract it. So it comes down to this. You're either gonna die on the hill that you've chosen as a cult to a particular party, or you're gonna be smart enough to look at yourself and ask yourself the question, if you're gonna live in this country and this is the government, then you have to look at exactly what they're doing and how it is impacting you in a very honest way. And I find that the level of tribalism is diminishing. It is still there, it is still strong. It is mostly among the idiots and ignorance. But people
and you need to give credit to the Prime Minister too for that cultural shift, because even when you listen to him speaking yesterday, it wasn't a partisan speech, sir. This was a speech to the people of Jamaica. It doesn't matter which parish you are, who was the member of parliament. This was a man that was speaking to his country, and that is a profound difference, Lavi, because on the other hand, on Tuesday, what you heard was an opposition leader mentioning 400,000 people, mentioning his 28 members of parliament. We hear solid as a rock. No, man, you are the leader of the opposition. You are leader of opposition for the entire country. And I think the room is not being read very well by this man.
Well, he's not reading the room. If he was reading the room, he would see. He's not reading the room because at this point, it is not advantageous to him to read the room. His immediate problem, his immediate challenge, his immediate goal is to secure his leadership. And that is why he keeps waving the flag of these 402,000 voters as if, because to him, he can use it against his opponents within his party to say, look what I did. I doubled the number of seats that we have in the parliament. There are 402,000 people who voted for me. And every opportunity he gets, he's waving it. So once you see that that continues to be the recurring theme, it tells you that his budget presentation was not to Jamaica. He did not walk into the parliament as an opposition leader who was aware that he was going to be speaking to a country in crisis. He did not walk into the parliament with a vision to rebuild Jamaica. Yes, he used a catchy phrase, and any high school student could pick that phrase and use it. But there was no substance there. And I understand that he's not the government, so probably he doesn't have certain knowledge about certain things. But at least you should come and present a vision as to how you rebuild. The issues should really be who has the one who has a vision to rebuild Jamaica. And I didn't hear anything visionary about his presentation. I heard his obsession with the Prime Minister. And whenever he had to address the Prime Minister, he could not even bring himself to a calm and sober attitude. It was always trying to diminish and to show disrespect to the office of the Prime Minister. Now I know he doesn't like the Prime Minister personally. I know that he feels insecure about himself. But come on, man. Come on. If you even can pretend for the time that you're there, that you're a statesman and you're a Prime Minister in waiting, and the amount of unforced error that he actually walked into, the matter of salary should not have come up.
Yes, Dion Jackson Miller pointed that out.
Yes, why is he falling on the sword like that?
You can't win that argument because you have accepted it for yourself and your members.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the PNP members of parliament over there must be saying, why is our leader continuing to flog this thing when the party bleeds every time he raises it?
Because he does not like the Prime Minister, and that is why everything for him is fair game. He's not thinking through the issues, and the Prime Minister was giving him a backhand. The Prime Minister didn't even the Prime Minister did not look affected emotionally. Every response the Prime Minister did to him, he did it in a spirit of friendship. I didn't see anything of disrespectful. Even when he gave him the gift that he was given, it was done in good fun and good humor.
Smile.
Yes, and that is what, when the adult comes into the room and speaks, everybody will forget what the other guy said. Because there's a difference when the adult in the room stand up to speak. Because when the adult stand up to speak, he's not speaking for himself or to himself. He's speaking to whoever is in the room. And his objective is to ensure that those who are in the room are hearing him clearly. And this Prime Minister spoke clearly. Anybody who heard the Prime Minister could understand. And there's one thing I gave the Prime Minister credit for, was to put the Cuban thing along with how they have been criticizing how he has been practicing his diplomacy in this volatile world.
Context. Very good
and
context.
he put it in the context of the Cold War and how how the world was divided, and that the leader and founder of the Jamaica Labour Party said, we are with the West.
Fascinating. That's quite an academic study there.
And today we still have to say we are with the West, because if we're not with the West, we are not gonna be at our best.
All right, that is great. Yes, so, you're very good. You're very good to observe that, sir. I admire that. Hold on there for me, please. Protecting. Are you still there? No, he's not. He's not there at all. Okay.
Neighbor.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Let me start with this, and I want all three of you to have a take on this. I've observed, you see, Protecting, that Jamaicans outside of the PNP, and maybe a lot in the PNP,
Yes, neighbor, go ahead.
Yes. Tend to dislike Mr. Golding. There seems to be a personal disconnection between him and the Jamaican people. Do you pick that up? Maybe the word is disconnect. That there is a disconnect between himself and
I think he's hated, neighbor. I think he's hated, and I think he brought it down on himself. I think he goes too far outside the line sometimes, trying to disrespect the Prime Minister. And I think by now the people are seeing what he's doing, and Jamaicans don't like to be disrespected, and Jamaicans don't like
when you disrespect them people.
When you disrespect them people, unnecessarily especially. So they realize by now, because Mr. Golden tries too hard. Him try too hard. It's like him just go out and wait all the time. Because the Prime Minister don't trouble him. Nobody can say the Prime Minister trouble Mr. Golding. Him just go too hard, figure out time way, and it shows.
But this is not a labor right. This is not a labor right thing. I get the sense that a lot of people.
It's a Jamaican thing. Plus, there are so many things about him that is out of character, especially leaders and leadership carries a certain kind of dignity to it. He doesn't display that kind of form at all. He doesn't. Mr. Golden carry himself like a man downtown, sit down at Justice Square, wait pan Father Olang to come serve lunch on the roadside. Him a walk around and a dig out him pants bottom and him a dig out him mouth. These are he pulls this kind of energy from the people to himself. He's the one who have put himself in this position, and I don't think he has the know-how to get himself out of it. And he's just going to continue and continue until people just start seeing him and just spit on him a road. Because this is where it's heading. Yes, it's disgusting. There's nothing, even when he has the opportunity. All right, look at it, neighbor. Because of the different issues that were public leading up to the last election, the PMP probably would have won if they were not so lie and disrespectful. Them could have mounted a good case in a neighbor because there were many things that they could have attacked. But they chose to get personal, dirty, nasty, and tell lies. Jamaican people can read, you know. We might not be obey man and obey women, but we can read into things. And we did not like it. And it's the same behavior. And I think that as time goes by, the PMP realizes now, you know, as time progresses, they're realizing that he's just an albatross around the neck of the PMP. They're realizing that he's dead weight for the PMP. And they're going to get rid of him. They're going to get rid of him. If him not pull off his stunt that they're planning now, to hand over the party to him friend, they might get rid of him. If you go to a vote, if the delegate have nothing to do with the choosing of the leader, they're going to get rid of him because they're planning now to pull off a stunt. Let's see how that one go.
Lavi?
Is that me?
Yeah, man. Yes, same question.
Yes, I get the feeling too that there's a level of dislike for Mr. Golden, and it's not it's a result. Listen, there's Jamaicans love certain things in their leaders. They don't want you to pretend. They like you to be authentic. If you have an English accent and that's what you're good at, they want you to speak it. Jamaicans will not discriminate against you if you speak proper English to them. They're not gonna. So, but don't try to speak like them or like us at the expense of not being authentic. And I find that that's one of the things about Mr. Golden is that he even though he's a Jamaican and he has been in the country for all his life, he has never adapted to the life of the common folks, and now he's trying to force him way there. So even when he speaks on behalf of the poor, which I don't think he is able to connect with as effectively as the Prime Minister, even when he does it, it sounds as if it is not it is not the soul of him. He's just saying it because this is convenient and necessary for him as a political leader. But he's not speaking as one who has felt the pain. He's not speaking as one who has suffered the consequences of poverty and the struggles that the ordinary Jamaican go through. And he doesn't come across as somebody who is sure of himself. He seems to always be trying to validate and define himself by his votes that he got or his position as leader of the party. And when you have to be doing those things to yourself, it is a big scream out to people who are insightful that something is wrong with this person. The other thing is, in the art of war, it said one of the things you must do is respect your enemy. And he does not respect the prime minister, and this is why he keep walking into all these. He keep making these forced errors. Nobody is inviting him to make these forced errors. He's walking into them because of his dislike for the prime minister. And what he need to do is actually try to learn about the prime minister. Try understand where the prime minister is coming from. Because if you are going to try to come up against the prime minister that has created more jobs in the history of this country under his leadership, the prime minister was brought down crime. How can you legitimately be spewing poison at a man like that and think that ordinary Jamaicans who have common sense are not sitting and saying that is this man for real? I don't think Mr. Golden and all Stepanaris are making the most money they can make under this government because of the way he has run this country. And they look at it as if somehow it doesn't mean anything. So when the Prime Minister stood up in Parliament yesterday and showed how they are hypocritical, not they, because it's really Mr. Golden, because the rest of the PMP MPs, they are quite fine getting their money.
Yes.
Because, neighbor, listen, let us be honest.
Yes.
Our Jamaican politicians over the years have been underpaid. I am a big believer in that politicians must be paid well, doctors must be paid well, nurses.
As a matter of fact, a lot of people may not say this, but a lot of the nefarious actions in the past could have been as a result of that, sir.
And it could have been. That is it. You pay them well and take away the incentive for corruption, and you put laws in place that
then we have strengthened institutions like the procurement guidelines and all of those things, the contractor general and the IC and all of that. But definitely in the past, sir, I mean, people struggled.
Yes, and we see how politicians when they retired, neighbor, when you see them, you feel sorry for some of them.
Well, there were reports that some couldn't pay their medical bills, so sick and can't go doctor.
Exactly. And listen, here is the truth, and people don't talk about these things. A lot of these politicians, because of how things were tough on their constituents, they had to give them out of their salary. They have to help people out of their salary, and it wasn't much. So I'm not gonna join any people who talk about politicians shouldn't be paid this and paid that. How you mean?
Not only that, Lavi, but if you are going to attract skilled people to help to build the country, to build the government, you have to look at the salary. I mean, somebody like a Dana Morris Dixon, from the private sector, Audrey Marks, these are not chickens people, sir. These are people who can earn lots of money. And Nigel Clark into government. Look where he is today.
Exactly.
We have to get with it. We have to get with it, sir.
Of course. And when you have a government that is performing the way that this government is performing, then the whole aspect of salary should not be an issue. Listen, it was a mistake the Prime Minister made when he didn't take it. He should have taken it from that time. But I understand what he said, and what he said was correct. He did say, left it open, that a new mandate might allow him to reconsider, and that is what he's doing. He's not playing a three-card trick. It was always out there. He just that the PMP are not the PMP. Mr. Golden and his Tapanaris, they refuse to acknowledge the fact that the Prime Minister did say that. He did create an off-ramp. He did create an off-ramp.
And then when you go to the Parliament and you make it appear as if somehow it is unethical.
Yes,
for the Prime Minister to do that. When
what a charge.
When you have accepted it, your members love it, and you make it appear as if the Prime Minister is doing something wrong. This is the type of imagery that I think Jamaicans are beginning to find distasteful about
Yes.
the leader, you know, sir.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm right. Harry, do you see where I'm going with this?
I actually do, neighbor. The thing, and Lavi touched some very critical points as well, where the opposition leader is putting himself and making some unforced errors, neighbor. Like the things that he's let, well, that is getting to him, that is creating him to do these things, right? Is minuscule. Like, you don't need to come out and do certain things, because for one, it is not an easy feat for you to resonate with the mass, because we all don't share the same experiences in life, and especially the fact that you can't change your background and your lineage. You should stick to what is your strength. And I think what Mr. Golding should have actually done, neighbor, is take a book out of the last name Golding from a previous prime minister. He should have looked at what Bruce Golding did and utilize it to the best of his ability. Stick to your strengths, because at no point in time your weaknesses are things you cannot actually change, right? You can't change your background, you can't change the family you were born in. What you can do is embrace those changes, right? Stick to the strengths, come as you are, and put that to the people. Because if we look at Bruce Golding, neighbor, he was a very well-read man. He was very detailed, and he didn't try to change. You never hear Bruce Golding try come and use words like Tapanaris and him and him crew. You don't do those things.
You know. Can I share something with you? Can I share something with you, Harry?
Go ahead, neighbor.
I went into a hardware down in St. Catherine, and when I look, I see a man in a shorts and a little shirt at the cashier. No, Mr. Golding. that is the former prime minister, you know, sir.
No, neighbor, that is his usual dress code.
Yes.
When you see him going like Mega Mart and so on.
Yeah. And then I went into a little Chinese restaurant, go buy a little fried rice. When I look in there, no, Mr. Golding can't order one fried rice. Sit down and said to myself, good God.
You know what's true about that, neighbor? Those things would have been his natural habits that he has done.
Sit down in a little Chinese restaurant with a little plate of fried rice. Yeah. Shocking to everybody. This is a former prime minister.
And when you look at it, neighbor, those are the things he would have used. While he can't, neighbor, Bruce Golding couldn't go downtown and blend in with the man where the farmer that's pushing the hand cart or the man who sell the clothes. He couldn't. But he could speak at a level where they could understand without trying to be them.
Yes.
And I think that is where Mark Golding is missing. And as such, he's losing himself unprovoked. And you cannot do that. Authenticity in politics, neighbor, is key. And here's why. When you know what you're best at, double down and make it even better. Because you can never, and this is Jamaica, you can never work on your weakness where it cannot be used against you.
Yes.
Right? I can tell you that for a fact. So, for example, let's use Nigel Clark. Well-spoken, scholarly, all of that. You know how persons get to accept him? When he changed the medium of his message, how he put it across. You didn't see Nigel try to force it. He stick to what he knows. He knows how to handle the facts. He knows how to bring the information. What he never had initially was the experience in terms of something you have to do over time to speak to the people at the level that he was elevated to, which is Minister of Finance. And as such, he learned. Because I remember his first speech, neighbor. I'm somebody who very well understood what he was saying, but I know the average man stopped listening to him from him coming in and answer the first two sentences.
Yes.
But he learned it, and he didn't change who he is to try and become something that the people will see through it. It's a farce. And as such, that's the worst thing. That is actually political suicide on an individual level for any person who is in representational politics.
Yeah.
And that is where Mr. Golding has gotten it wrong.
Yeah. And this sense on this over-reliance on, I have Pablo. Pablo, I'm coming to you shortly. This over-reliance on the PNP base, Harry, in a time when Jamaica is becoming less polarized, when we are less talking about, listen to me, people are now going to the polls to vote on election day based on their pragmatic reality, what they are experiencing, what they are seeing happening in their country. You cannot survive in Jamaica's politics today if you toe the partisan line, Harry.
You definitely can. And today I got a perfect example of this when I was at work. One of my co-workers, she doesn't speak politics. And because she didn't hear me having any form of discussion regarding the budget debate and so on, she came to me, neighbor, and asked me, how come I don't tell her what happened in the budget debate with the Prime Minister?
Tell her to listen
because
to the podcast.
Neighbor, somebody will go bed early. I can't
okay,
tell her
we'll start earlier. Caroline, let's start earlier.
But what she was saying to me is she wanted to know what was happening in it because she didn't get the chance to listen to it, right? And remember, this is somebody who's not in the political thing. And as such, what she did was said, okay, these are the things. And I gave her the major pointers and so on. And she said she's going to go home and listen to see if the opposition had anything close because she wants to know how to plan her life for the next 5 years.
Yes.
And she wanted to know how the government would fall into that, how it would enhance it. And this is somebody, neighbor, I've known her for 5 years. And she has never had any interest in the debate at this level. She just wanted to know, are we getting anything this year? She wants to know if she's getting any fruits from the tree. That was always her thing. And she's been vested now because what? She realized that a lot of the things that are coming to the forefront is in alignment with the advancement as to what she would like to see in her own life. And these are the people you have to engage. No, politics are no longer among the diehards. Yes, you'll always have your diehards, no doubt about it, because you still have to appease them, right? Because you don't want them to become over the undecided area. But the larger pool is that you go after that pool and see what they want. Put your ears on the ground. Understand why they are where they are in terms of the political process. And then you can slowly entice them. And that is where we are in the political process. The diehards will be there. All parties will always appease their cohorts. That is a given. But you have to now engage because what's happening, and this is the reality, the undecided group has become larger.
It has, absolutely correct.
Thinking more. People are looking for more things. People are demanding a better standard. And the higher your level of emotional intelligence is and your education level is, then you start to go over the undecided because you're thinking at a higher level. Now, handout business now can get you to pretty much cross the floor and go on and give your vote over.
60%.
Going back to
60%.
You have to.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
60% of the electorate are undecided, 60%. About 60%. Right?
And that speaks volumes.
It does. And so if you keep towing this partisan line, then your political prospects are very, very weak. And I think Golding is making that mistake. I really think so.
I don't think he's utilizing and I can say this because I have experience with him. I mean, he taught me in university. I don't think he's using the skills of Damian Crawford when it comes on to that because it's a marketing problem, right?
Crawford taught you.
He taught me marketing and consumer behavior, and he's very well. He's versed. He has realistic examples when he's explaining things to you, even though it strays away from the point a lot of times. Any university student will tell you that. But the thing about it is that
big up yourself there, Mr. Crawford, if you're listening. He says he listens to this program every night. Did you know what Mr. Crawford says, if I tell you? Mr. Crawford said that he doesn't come to the program because if he comes to the program, the numbers are going to double. And that's giving publicity to Politics Plus. That's what he said.
Well, I'll give him a message, neighbor, and anybody can put it out. We're going to let the number speaks for itself. We're going to get so big that he himself cannot not afford to come
resist not to come, especially by now. Remember now, he came on the program twice during the last election. We never invited him. He just said he listens to the program and he came up. And after that, I hear that Mr. Crawford is saying that if he comes over here, he's going to make the program too big. So he's not coming.
He's going to come here in off seasons for elections.
Yes.
I'm backing the program for that because we know what it is.
Yes,
right? But I don't know if it's because he's seen as a challenger for Mr. Bowling. But the truth is, you have to understand that the die-heartedness of politics are older persons, and Jamaica is becoming a more youthful population.
Yeah.
And the more, if you look at it, they don't subscribe to any party indefinitely, neighbor.
Yeah, he's listening to the program. But by the way, Mr. Crawford, the roads in your constituency, sir. Oh my gosh, they are. Well, you just became the member of parliament, so I won't blame you too much for that. But come and chat with us, man, and don't listen.
Yeah, but he knows the conditions of the road very well. He has to go to Charlie Mount High School to teach his classes, so he knows.
Oh, he's a teacher. He teaches there.
He does the math thing that he has always done for a few years now. He has just extended it because he's also the member of parliament and working with the Charlie Mount High School. In fact, his office you have to pass his office to get to the school.
Well, can't you arrange for him to come here, man? Yeah, you can have a talk to him. Hold on there for me. Good evening to you, Pablo. Hey, Pablo? No, Pablo is not there. Good evening, Daphne Boyd. Good evening to you, sir. No, Daphne Boyd. What about Demar Anderson? Good evening. No. What about
my name is Highway down there tonight.
Lord Jesus. They're toppers. They're toppers. Jeffrey, they seem to be toppers. They talk about a highway being blocked. And okay, so we are 9 o'clock, and listeners, if you wanna come up at this time, then please send us a request, and we'll be able to take you up until 9:30. All right. So going until 9:30. Want to talk to some more of you. Do you have a comment on the Prime Minister's presentation, or what else is on your mind this great Friday evening? Come and share it with us. Who do we have? Okay, let's take some more calls. Our listeners. Scooby, hi sir. Scooby, hi.
Yes, neighbor.
Hello, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just checking in,
Well, nice of you, sir. Nice of you to check in. Where are you checking in from?
Toronto, Canada.
You're in the great Toronto, Canada. Wonderful, wonderful, sir. It's cold there?
It's in between, It's not so bad.
Okay, that's nice. So, what's on your mind, sir? You've listened to the budget presentations. Any thoughts?
Honestly, neighbor, I didn't get to it.
Well, I'm sure you'll do that over the weekend.
Yeah, most definitely.
But you have heard some comments online. I'm sure you have.
Yes, I do. Busy days. So tomorrow will be more, of a relaxing day, tomorrow and Sunday. So looking forward to go back to it and analyze everything that's been taking place,
Yes.
But what I want to say to the listeners, neighbor, because a lot of listeners out there, because of the caliber of the program and the discussions and stuff like that, people are a little bit hesitant to participate because they think that, they're not up to the caliber of the program. But
hold on. No. What do you mean? Say they don't want what?
Participate in the discussion.
Because what?
When you listen to Ari and a Scratchy and your guest and stuff like that, and the caliber of the program, people are a little bit, when it comes to the confidence, they don't confident themselves to participate and, stuff like that, give their opinion on certain things. But this is a program that.
Well, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, sir. When you go into a classroom,
right,
a lot of times you are ignorant to what is going to be said. You don't know what to. That's why you go there.
So true.
I want to encourage my listeners. Don't take that approach. Come up
right.
with a program and say what you have to say. Because you two need to build your confidence. I mean, I never started from where I was, sir. Did you know this, sir? That I used to go on a program called Politics and Sports before I started this program. And I was nervous.
Oh, really?
Yes, of course I was nervous, sir.
I'm on your caliber, neighbor.
You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. No, sir. I still am nervous. And most evenings before I come on here, I still am nervous. But once you open your mic and you begin to talk, then the nervousness goes. It's natural. It's natural. So
it's natural. Even in sports, it's the same thing, Yeah. I used to play soccer, and before you enter the play field, and after the first 5-10 minutes, then
adrenaline flowing, eh? Heart
right.
beat fast.
Right.
Yes. And Harry, Scratchy, Caroline, all of us had to start from somewhere, and look how well they are all doing now. No, listeners, don't do that. Come out on the program.
Yeah, so I want you to emphasize on that some more, neighbor, and encourage them to participate. We don't look down on anyone or judge anyone, based on educational background or stuff, intelligence or anything like that. So just participate. Say what you have to say. We don't discriminate. We don't look down on anyone.
Not at all. I'm happy you said that. Of course, absolutely. Yes, that's great.
So that's my input for tonight, neighbor.
Okay.
I'll keep listening.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh boy. I didn't know that the listeners are shy. Listeners, are you shy? Come on, please. Don't be shy. Come on. The lines are open for you. Come along up and say something. Okay, we don't have anyone else? No one else? Okay, they're shy?
Very shy, neighbor. How are you?
Hey, Mr. Waterman, you can't shy because you run your own program.
Not shy on my own program, but I'm shy on yours.
Why you shy up here? What happened?
Oh, man. Well. What can I say, man? When I look at the budget debate speech that
Yes.
the Prime Minister gave last night, I am so I get goosebumps, to be honest, thinking about the things that the Prime Minister talk about, and I'm thinking how I'm going to react when I get back to Jamaica and how I'm going to feel about my country, knowing that this really happened. This development is a reality. So I just want to say that we need to keep praying for the Prime Minister because he's doing such a good job.
Yes.
And we also want to we have to counter the misinformation and the tear down mentality that the PNP has. We have to keep doing that, because if we don't, we can't let them overpower us in terms of coming on the media and giving people wrong information about Jamaica. Because if you wasn't paying attention and you was listening to the PNP alone over the past 6 months or so, and you hear the Prime Minister come out last night and speak of all these things that are happening and that are about to happen, you would have been like, but that's not what I know. That's not what you hear. You would feel like,
I get the sense though that the party, the Jamaica Labour Party, is now more dominating the media space.
Yes.
And are gaining a lot of traction. You don't get that sense?
Yes, it's picking up. It's picking up. When I just came on first, it wasn't like that, but it was mostly PNP.
Yes.
But now it picked up, and which I'm very happy, because we have to.
Not only that, but I noticed also that the shows online that tend to support the Jamaica Labour Party, like yours, have better audiences than the comrade spaces. I never see a comrade show with more than 100 people. Yet, sir.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, the JLP
they're
are
searching
yes.
for you get 50 in a them space, then get a lot. So and it was not like that at all.
No. Well, I guess what happened is that people come to their senses now and realize that what the PNP was putting out there was a lot of propaganda, and the truth is coming out. So people now, if you believe in the truth, then you're going to have to swing to the lies that are telling the truth. So maybe that's the reason.
You know, sir, they say that lie have an expiry date. Yeah. Lies, they say, have an expiry date. And I think if you continue to put out false information over and over and over again, all you need to do, on the other hand, sir, is to lift up the truth beside it. And after a time, people realize a lie you are telling them. And then you lose credibility.
Exactly. And that's what's happening to the opposition leader. He's losing credibility on a daily basis. A daily basis. And what I see him do on Tuesday, especially calling out the Prime Minister about his pay, was disgusting. I was like, are you serious? This is really what you come to talk about on a budget debate? It was really disgusting to listen to him.
Yeah.
And
comment on the question I asked my panel earlier, that that there seemed to be a growing dislike for the leader of the opposition in Jamaica. And I'm very, very frank with you. This is what I picked up, that people don't want to talk about him. People feel that, he's not good for Jamaica, separate and apart from his own base, where there are problems too. But I get the sense that this is not a man that Jamaica likes.
Because like they said, he cannot be trusted. I heard, who was it that said that when I listened to that speech before the election in Montego Bay? What's the name of this member of parliament that had worked with Mark Golan in the past? And she says he cannot be trusted. And I read into what she was saying, and then when I looked at how Mark Golan behaved and how he actually speak to the Prime Minister, when he's speaking to the Prime Minister, that turns me off totally from him. totally. No, there's no respect for Mark Golding for me.
Why? My goodness. You're talking about Mrs. Malahoo Fort.
Mrs. Malahoo Fort. Yeah, cannot be trusted, man. He just cannot be trusted. And look how he's talking about the prime ministers. But to be honest, I seriously believe that he wanted to be known as the politician in Jamaica getting the highest paid. And that is why he was upset that the prime minister decided to take his salary.
Yeah. And so now that we have had the budgets debate, the finance minister will close the debate on Tuesday. And then we are off and running fit. Clear path forward for Jamaica. And I believe that the country is going to settle down and work with this plan and see what happens over the next couple of years. Eh?
That's the intention. And that's what I hope that these things are going. The one thing I want the PNP to realize that these are not promises that the prime minister made. These are things that are already in the pipeline. Some of them already, the money is allotted to these projects. So these things are going to happen. So we just have to just continue to promote what is going to happen and let the people know that these things are going to happen.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir.
Not a problem, neighbor. Where is Scratchy? Scratchy, come and give us your 2 cents.
Yes, I think Scratchy is a little busy at the moment. Do we have another caller? Hello, caller? Hello? Yes, caller? Hello? Hello? Do we? Hello? Good night. Good night to you, caller. Okay, we don't have anyone else there. Okay. Hey, Don, good night. Don, good night. All right, let's head to the runway then. So Harry, a good week for the party. Prime Minister closed well. Yesterday, the finance minister will close the debate next week, Tuesday. Clearly, she again will come and rebut some of the points that were made, and the budget will go forward. And so, all in all, Harry, another good budget presentation for the government, and a clear distinction made between the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party going forward, Harry. I think we can be very proud that after a devastating hurricane category 5, that Jamaica remains resilient and, as the Prime Minister says, resurgent. Amazing, eh?
Definitely is, neighbor. That in itself is a reassurance. I mean, I know playing on some R's there, but it is one to know that we're still in good hands, regardless of what would have we've gone through. And in fact, neighbor, it is also another test for this administration. I know they boast on the fact that they are good at risk management and fiscal management. But again, it is being put to the test in a different way. So I think by the time they've completed this recovery, which is anticipated around 2027, 2028, people will get to see how they would have fared among different lines, among different events that aren't just not man-made, but things that are natural when you are running a country. And as such, I think that will also bring up their political stock, neighbor. They'll have a lot of credit in the bank, probably going into the latter end, which would be close to the likes of, election coming around that corner. But I think for now, the people understands what is happening, because the thing about it is that with us facing that disaster right after an election, sentiments would have swayed. Trust would have also been put to the test. And as such, we're seeing where it is being reinforced. Doubts have been removed, especially after that budget debate, neighbor. I think people would have gotten even a clearer point as to where the administration is seeking to take them. In fact, I would probably say compare it to the running in terms of election as to what the Jamaica Labour Party wanted to do compared to the Prime Minister's speech. No, I'd say people have a better understanding and appreciation for it at a higher level. And notwithstanding the fact that they've now given themselves a lot of room between themselves and the opposition, because make no mistake, neighbor, people are comparing and contrasting, and it's definitely not looking good for the opposition. I know the opposition was trying to ride a wave of how they would have gone through the election. You know, they continued it through the disaster and even after the disaster. But the priorities, and there's a time and place for everything, neighbor, and that is what the administration currently is showing, and that sets them a class above the alternatives. And that is, I know that is worrying for democracy based on, personally for me, what I would like to see. But this is the reality we have. And I think it is also showing the confidence that the people chose right. And that is key.
Fantastic. Lavi, your final thoughts?
Well, neighbor, I will say that Jamaica's future is looking great. The Jamaica Labour Party is sealing the deal in the minds of Jamaicans. And within the next 2-3 years, I don't know what any opposition could say and do that would affect the JLP and the government adversely. Because the only angle, the only space of attack that was ever there, and it is always a possibility of using it to great effect. But I don't think you can use it in this time. This is not a good time to use the corruption. The corruption stamp does not work. Class and the Prime Minister is corrupt. Using his salary as an issue, those things do not work. They only work in situations where the people are sucking salt through the wooden spoon and the government is not performing. The people are not sucking salt through a wooden spoon and the government is performing. So the prospect for the government itself is great. And with this government, if this government is doing well politically, then Jamaica is doing well economically, socially, and all the other allies that you can think of. And I listened yesterday, neighbor, and I can tell you, I had the chills. And I made a video today and I said that I no longer envy the people who were around in the 60s to witness the Jamaica Labour Party laying the foundation for Jamaica. Because I am living at a time when the foundation for the modern Jamaica is being laid by Dr. Andrew Michael Holness. And I am proud that I am living in a time when the leader of my country is so effective and he is a man from my generation. I see it differently when I know that the man in the house there taking care of the affairs is from my generation. I feel proud. And Jamaica is experiencing a leader that only comes around once in a few decades. And we need to take care of this man. We need to support this man and protect this man. When people try to attack this man, we need to build a wall of defense around this man and his family. Because this family, like no other family in politics, is sacrificing. Because it is not just Andrew who is in politics. His wife is there. And when the entire family has now become a part of the government in the sense that they are feeling the effects of the politics. They are being attacked here, there, and everywhere. So, I feel good tonight. I am proud of the budget presentation by the Prime Minister, and I am looking forward to the presentations by people like Mr. Vaz, and
the sectoral
yes,
debate.
the sectoral debate. I'm looking forward to those in a great deal.
Okay, thank you so much, Lavi.
No worries.
I want to say good night to my friends on YouTube. The stream there now is going to be ending at 9:30. So thank you so much for joining us. Of course, for the Hello Neighbor podcast. And we hope that you'll join us again next week, Monday at 6 o'clock for the Hello Neighbor podcast. Have a fantastic weekend. For those of you who are on TikTok, hang on. We're not finished yet. Just give us a few moments.
Do you think all dishwashing soaps are the same?
Okay, so Harry, what's on this weekend for you?
I think I might have a slow weekend, neighbor. I'll be doing some review in terms of some stuff for work. I'm looking on quite a number of other things, but it should be more of an indoor type of weekend, especially with this type of weather.
Okay, it's been raining, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, sir, take care of yourself, and I'm trying to work through with my team whether we work tomorrow or Sunday, because I know for Sunday I'll be out. So let's see what can happen. I'm sure that we'll talk about this off here.
It definitely will, neighbor. Definitely.
Yeah, man.
Remember, Minister of Mediation and Moderation don't play, no.